Hey garden lovers, how's your spring garden doing? We've been getting a pretty decent spring this year. It's been really nice. Everything is growing so fast. Tomato plants have been growing like weeds. We've been staking them up, removing bottom leaves. We haven't got to this section yet. Giving them a shake to encourage pollination. This year I'll finally have time to share all of the delicious, beautiful varieties that we're growing. So keep an eye out for some shorts over the next few months. The corn is also growing like a weed. Corn is one of the fastest veggies you can grow. That and radishes. And you can see here I pretty much overdid it sowing corn kernels. But I wanted to better my odds. I did run across a couple of grubs. So this way, if some of the grubs started attacking some of the baby corn sprouts, then I'd have lots of other options. But got to get those guys thinned out because I'm sure the roots are getting all tangled. And the cantaloupe is starting to take off. This is Charantes. It's a French heirloom melon. And I overdid sowing these seeds also just because they're from 2018. There's some homegrown Hearts of Gold seeds and wasn't sure if they were going to sprout, but awesome, the seeds are still viable, so we'll definitely be collecting some seeds this season. In a minute, I'll be sharing what we are planting, sowing, and growing in May and June. And now that I'm a full-time grower, I'll be able to release our monthly garden videos sooner. This month though, I'm still behind because we were out of the country for a couple weeks. And before I get into it, I wanted to mention the other two channels that we've recently started. We have our All Things Chili channel. It's celebrating and exploring chili peppers. So far we have some delicious recipes posted up, some delicious hot sauce brands that we came across on our travels. We created that channel separate from this one because not everybody is into chili peppers as much as we are, and so we didn't want to flood this channel with a bunch of chili pepper content. But if you do love chili peppers, then head over there and subscribe because YouTube, Instagram, they're not allowing me to post on both channels. They're seeing the second post as spam, so it looks like our chili pepper content, recipes, varieties that we grow will all be over at All Things Chili. And our other channel that we are going to be launching any day now, and I'm really excited about, is Gardens Around the World. I've had this one on my mind for years, and I have a lot of fun plans planned for that channel. And the first video that we'll be releasing and I'm working on now is the beautiful gardens of Leku Resort in Fiji. So make sure to head over there and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified so that you are notified when we release that. It's absolutely beautiful. You're going to love it. Last month I left an industry that I've worked in for over 28 years. To spend more time with my family and to spend more time developing our small family business. We appreciate everyone that's been watching our gardening channel over the last few years. We have a lot of fun plans for this channel, for our All Things Chili channel, and for Gardens Around the World. And we hope to see you over there. Plus, we're finally going to get our store launched at southerncaliforniagardening.net. And you're going to be able to see the seeds that we are selling. For instance, this is Calypso. It's a heat-tolerant cilantro variety that we've been growing for years. The seeds that we'll have available for sale on our website are limited, very small scale. If you follow our channel, you'll know exactly which plant you'll be getting your seeds from. And we'll only be offering seeds that grow well in our climate. Plus, we'll have handcrafted home and garden decor and garden art available. All right, on to what we are planting, sowing, and growing in May and June. Of course, May is a big month for tomato growers, and just about everybody is growing some tomatoes. We certainly are growing a ton of tomatoes, and I'm also having fun cloning tomato plants. And I thought this was interesting. The leaves on this tomato plant are nice and relaxed, and you could see it's just a really healthy plant. And looking over here at these guys that I just removed from the garden, you could tell that they're stressed out. The leaves are curled. That's a good indicator that the plant's experiencing stress. And that's because our nighttime lows are still in the upper 40s due to our elevation. In a couple weeks, we'll be more around mid 50s for our lows, and so all of the tomato plants in the garden will be much happier at that point. This guy is nice and comfortable. He's been growing indoors at about 70 degrees for the last couple weeks. And even though the tomato plants that are outside are a bit stressed, you can see the curled leaves on this guy, the fruit is still setting, so we're just a few weeks away from some delicious homegrown tomatoes. And I'm excited to see what this tomato does. It's a trial. Last year I planted some saved seeds from a Cherokee Purple, and it grew these really interesting tomatoes with kind of sunbursts on the skin. So I'm calling it a Cosmic Cherokee, and we'll see if these do grow like the ones that I saved the seeds from. So it's been fun cloning plants. I cloned some chili pepper plants. They get adventitious roots also, just like tomato plants. And this guy is going to be a Dr. Wish by Baker Creek. And this month, of course, a lot of tomato plant maintenance. We're staking up, we're removing bottom leaves to prevent soil-borne pathogens from spreading on the plant, and giving them a shake to encourage pollination. Also this month we are succession planting radishes. Here we are thinning out the radishes. I should have did that a couple weeks ago. It would have been easier. But we'll be succession planting radishes in May, June, and then the window's going to close because it's going to get too hot and the radishes just don't grow well. They get kind of woody. But we are experimenting with ways to grow radishes, so we'll be sharing that in some future shorts. I learned from Charles Dowding that you could grow beets in a cluster and they'll just bulb out, push each other out of the way, but I tried that with radishes and they didn't do that. They stayed thin, didn't want to bulb out, so got to take the time to thin these guys. And my little dude is happy to eat the thinned out radishes. He loves radishes. We have been succession planting our watermelon plants over the last couple months, and you could still find transplants at a local nursery. I would just say when looking for some from a local nursery, try to get the youngest ones that you could find, because watermelon plants do hate their roots being disturbed. So if you have a younger plant when you're transplanting, it'll probably take better. Also, Baker Creek has a great variety called Sugar Baby Bush, and it's a late season watermelon. I think last year we sowed seeds in July and got a few watermelons. It's a great variety. We're also succession planting cucumbers, and this tomatillo looks like it's got some pest pressure going on. Cucumber beetles seem to love tomatillo plants. They don't go after our cucumber plants, but they really go after our tomatillos. So if you see any of those guys, make sure to smash them right away. The larva will devour tomatillo leaves like within a week. They really can wreck a plant. Here's a new variety we picked up at Parkview Nursery, Slice Max. Says it does well in high temperatures, so we'll see how it goes. And if it does perform well, we'll definitely be saving seeds. And since the high temperatures are right around the corner, we'll be utilizing lots of shade cloths, and cucumbers grow very well under these Be Cool Solution shade cloths. We're using a 40%, so plenty of light going through to grow veggies like cucumbers and tomato plants, and they get the protection from the harsh UV rays so that we don't get blossom drop from our tomato plants. May and June are months full of chili pepper maintenance, and I've been doing a terrible job of removing fruit and blossoms off of plants that need to get more mature before they take on the hefty job of producing a bunch of fruit. If I allowed these guys to stay on, these plants would really struggle, and I've seen them struggle to the point of where it just takes them out. So over the next week, I'll be going around all of our chili plants, pinching off blossoms. If it's a jalapeno plant or a serrano plant and it's pretty far along, I probably won't pinch off those blossoms, but if it's a very small jalapeno or serrano, then I'll even pinch off those blossoms. Just want to make sure the chili plants get mature, make sure that they're focusing their energy on root development to make a sturdy plant so that we get lots of chili peppers. I love all the wildlife we have running around here. This guy's a cutie and he's not afraid of me. This habanero plant is struggling. I rushed the hardening off process this year because we had a trip to go on, and so I wanted to get him outside in the ground. And that was a mistake, but you can see here it's filling out nicely. We've got lots of new leaf growth popping out, so that'll replace some of the burnt leaves, and lots of little habaneros. I'm going to leave some of them on because this is a pretty mature plant, but I will be removing some of them. Can't wait to have some fresh habanero pods. We have several generations of hummingbird families living in our garden. This is BBD, which is the former BB's daughter, and she's really warming up to me. If I'm out in the garden and I'm busy, she'll make this sound to call me and let me know that she's there so that I'd come talk to her. She's a very, very social little one. And of course, we're growing lettuce year-round, but it's time to change things up because the high temperatures are right around the corner. You can see we have a bunch of bolted lettuce. I gotta find the tag for this variety. It's been growing great, but we really haven't had super high temperatures yet. I don't think we've been above 83, which has been incredible. We have had such an amazing spring this year. Anyway, we're transitioning to heat-tolerant varieties only, and we've got the trial started, so keep an eye out for some shorts on that. We are trialing several different varieties. I think there's 17 to see which performs best in our high temperatures, and we'll make sure to share all that information with you so that you could grab those varieties and have some fresh lettuce in the middle of summer. This is a beautiful Italian dandelion plant. It's full of vitamin C. It's got that bitter flavor telling you that it's got lots of vitamin C. It's a great addition to salads, and our chicks love it. It's one of their staple greens. And that very plant, we will be selling seeds on our website. They're just flowering, so they're a few weeks out. Speaking of lettuce trials, I've done 2 so far, but something's went wrong with each of them because I was traveling, and so I just got to make sure that this one that we are currently doing, I stick around and monitor and make sure there are no issues. This is Sierra, and it always outperforms the majority of the varieties that we've grown. I'm letting it go to seed, so we're going to have thousands of seeds in a few weeks. So I know this is going to be great. A viewer had told me about it some time ago, and I got them from Siskiyou Seeds. The variety is Sierra. It's excellent in the hot temperatures. Here is a Sierra lettuce head that has not bolted yet. And this month we have been planting pole beans. But actually I've only had to sow seeds of two varieties, Black Knight and Black Coat, because our green beans are popping up all over the place. I haven't sowed any green beans, and this guy I'm going to do a little trial and see how it transplants, but I don't want him growing in between my tomato plants. I made that mistake before and they just climbed all over the place and kind of choked out the tomato plants. So I'm going to get him transplanted and see how he does. All of these guys have self-seeded themselves. Going to have to get them untwisted from these plants and get them trained up some poles. Here's another bird family that lives in our garden. I think he just got done taking a bath in his little bird bath. But I really like them around. I see them eating the caterpillars and eating various bugs. Sometimes they eat the seeds that I'm waiting to harvest. They really took out my red giant mustards, but there was plenty left over. I'm going to head over to one other spot where the beans have self-seeded themselves and went crazy, but first I had to stop off at this bachelor button. This is the most beautiful plum purple bachelor button, and it's going to be included in our heat-loving flower collection that we'll have available on our website. This entire patch of green over here is all green beans. Self-seeded, didn't plant not one of these, and they've been wrapping around everything. Had to get them untangled from my overwintered chili pepper plants. So I'm pretty sure we're growing way too many green beans this year, but I have a problem with all this beauty. I don't want to thin them out and toss them, but I don't really want to transplant them anywhere else. So I'll just leave them and harvest them, and we'll freeze some. Our little buddy, I'll probably can some. Our little buddy loves to eat green beans as a snack. And this month we're also starting pumpkins. I love growing pumpkins, and I'm doing a fun experiment this season, so keep your eye out for a future short on that. But basically, I'm here scouting where I'm going to plant some pumpkins. They need a lot of room, and they really do great when their adventitious roots can secure themselves in different parts of the soil as they crawl around. So something's going on with the irrigation on this side. This soil is as hard as a rock, so I'm going to have to identify what happened here. And this is actually really good soil. It's got a lot of compost mixed in, so I'll definitely be growing the pumpkins here. Just got to fix the water problem. And for a fun small pumpkin variety that really grows well in a container, and it'll do even better if it could crawl around on the ground, is Jack Be Little. We have a fun clip on our Instagram of harvesting that variety. I think we got around 15. They fit in the palm of your hand. They're just adorable. And May and June are great times to get your zucchini and squash started. We started zucchini a few weeks ago, and obviously there's an issue here. So I'm going to dig up the soil and see what's going on. We grew zucchini for the first time last year, and man, it was fun. I couldn't believe the amount of zucchini. We had never grown it prior because we didn't eat it, but my husband found ways to cook it. He makes it delicious. So I love growing it. It's super fun. But I'm going to see what's going on with this guy, and then we'll have to sow some more seeds. So I sifted through the soil and did find this wormy looking guy, and I don't think it's a baby grub. He's more yellow, but I'm not sure if this is the reason why this plant was doing so terribly, but I'll get some more seeds sown, remove this guy, and we'll start over. And I'm noticing that this video is going on too long, so I'm going to get it wrapped up pretty quick here. But you can also be growing potatoes year-round. So we've got this round that we planted a couple months ago, and the soil actually dried out in this area too, so got to find out what's going on here. But we are getting some more popped in, And since this piece looks like it only has 2 eyes, I'm just going to pop in the whole potato. Normally I'd divide the potato, make sure it had 2 eyes, let it scab over, and then get it placed about 4 inches deep in the soil. And as I mentioned, you could grow potatoes year-round in SoCal, except with our elevation, we're at 1900 above sea level. There are times when we get frost. During that period of the season, we just make sure they're covered with some frost blankets. All right, I'm going to wrap this video up, but make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram because I'm sure I missed a ton, and we will be posting there all that we're doing around the garden throughout the month. And it looks like little BBD is visiting again, so I'm going to go hang out with her and enjoy the day. Also, for more videos on how to grow food in a hot deserty climate, hit the subscribe button, and remember, something doesn't come from nothing. This is a mind-blowing creation. I hope you guys enjoy your week and enjoy your garden.